Exporting video from Photoshop is different than just saving it as a PSD. Now, you should still save your projects as PSDs. It will save all of your video work in your timeline panel all the same. But if we want to actually export this, say to upload to YouTube or share on Instagram, we have to export the actual video file, not just save the project file. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to export video through Photoshop. It's limited on its capabilities, but it's going to help us export in a perfect little codec that's wonderful for web. So let's get started exporting our videos in Photoshop. Okay, so let's say this video is done. We've added all of our video, all of our stills, all of our text. We've added keyframes for motion. We've added transitions to help us transition between different segments. Now we need to export this. Now, first things first, make sure you still save this as a PSD. Do it now if you haven't already. And before we go to export this, we should make sure that our audio levels are all proper. But you'll notice something. We don't really have audio meters. In fact, Photoshop isn't geared for audio at all. That's why we had to record our podcasts in a different program. If I were to right-click or option-click my audio, you do see we have some volume. We have some audio transitions. We could also mute this altogether. This is it. This is all we have in terms of audio control. Now, since we already recorded our podcast audio, I'm not worried about the levels for this. But let's say you've added a video clip that has audio that you don't want. Well, if you right-click a video clip, you can come up here and you can see both the video aspects and the audio aspects. And all the same, you could completely mute the audio for that particular clip. So make sure you just take a second, go through, and ensure that there's audio only when you want it to be. Now let's talk about work area. We see this little bracket up here in the time area, at the beginning and at the end. We can drag this left and right. This is our work area. Now the work area is important because Photoshop is going to export whatever we have inside of our work area. So if I have this bracket over here on accident, it's only going to export this much. A common error is having these smashed together, and Photoshop delivers an error because you're trying to export nothing. So make sure that your work area is the length of your podcast. So once we've made sure that our audio is good and that our work area is set, now we can go to export. Let's go up to File in the menu bar, and then come down to the side menu called Export. Then come all the way down to Render Video, right above Zoomify, whatever that does. Select Render Video. This brings up the Render Video dialog box, and this can seem daunting at first, but let me walk you through it. First things first, let's name our project. I'll call this Podcast to Video. We want to then select a folder where this is going to get saved to. Make sure that you actually select a folder, otherwise it may default to some random folder that you'll never find. Now below this, we have the render settings. And these can seem daunting if you aren't familiar with basic video codecs. Now we're going to be exporting using Adobe Media Encoder, and this is good. We want to use that. Now we have a format called H.264. What is that? That is a web codec. A codec is the way a video is exported. It's kind of like the package. H.264 is friendly for web. YouTube, Vimeo, most online players prefer the H.264 video codec. And by default, everything is the same as the document. So the settings that we used in our video preset has dictated what these settings are. And truth be told, they're all perfect. So we don't have to touch these. We don't have to even really know what they are. They're all good. Now, if you want to learn more about video presets, I'd recommend taking my Video 1 course where I dive into all of these and what they mean. Now, I want to make sure down here under Range that we select Work Area. We were careful to make sure that our work area was set properly, so let's make sure that everything inside of it is exporting. The render options over here are irrelevant. So once we have our name, where we're saving it to, and our work area bubble selected, now we can click Render. When you do that, it's going to give you a loading screen, and it's going to slowly start to export. Now, rendering takes time. Depending on your computers, rendering and exporting this 3-minute video could potentially take hours. And sometimes those renders will fail if your computer has some random hiccup and you have to go through that whole process again. So I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. He's actually been back here in almost every single one of these tutorials. This is RenderCat. Come on over here, RenderCat. Oh, this is RenderCat. RenderCat has been on every desk of every job I've ever held, and now he's with me in the tutorials. The saying goes in the video production world, if you don't watch your exports export, they're going to fail. So like as soon as you turn your head, it's going to fail, and you won't know why because you weren't watching. And that leads to some late nights of 2 a.m. renders just sitting there watching that little loading bar go up and up. So RenderCat, he's the all vigilant eyes for my renders. He watches, so I don't have to. So as you guys go throughout my classes, you'll be more familiar with RenderCat, but I want to introduce you to him now. He's a critical part in my success. All right, dude, back to your stool. All that to say, give this process time. Don't start to export 3 minutes before the assignment's due. I always get a bunch of messages saying, it's still rendering, can I turn it? Sorry, it's... Just don't do that. Start rendering like 2 hours before it's due, at least. Assume the exporting process is going to be a nightmare for you. Best case scenario, it's not, and you can turn it in a little early. So you've been warned. Give yourself a fair amount of time for this. Now, once this finishes exporting like it has here, you can now go to wherever you saved that to, and that should be a playable, uploadable file that you could share on social media and upload to YouTube.